Hey everyone, tonight's the full moon, so I hope everyone has an awesome full moon. I didn't even expect to come on and make a video today, but I got a huge download and I thought it was really important to share. I felt like really compelled to share it. So here I am. And what it was about was I posted the other day on my Instagram this meme, and it was describing different relationships that you can experience. And one was the twin flame, one was the soulmate relationship, and the other was the karmic relationship. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to share this because I resonated with it. And then today I got a download about a little elaboration on it. And I think it's really important to share, especially because a lot of twin flames follow me because I'm a twin flame in union, and they like to hear from somebody who understands this from an experience point of view. It'd be different if somebody was coming in and wasn't a twin flame and was just sharing their view on this. It's harder to appreciate their view as much because they haven't been in your shoes. So I'm just going to briefly describe each relationship for anyone who might be watching that doesn't know what they are. So the twin flame is that someone you share the same soul with. And I'm just going to read off some facts because I don't want to miss anything. And how it was described in this meme, because I thought they did a great job of giving a concise description of each relationship, was you share the same soul, you have an undeniable connection, and everything that you run from is right in front of you. So what this relationship does is it brings up, basically your partner triggers all of the things that you have been running from. Everything that you haven't wanted to deal with, that you need to deal with to grow exponentially in a spiritual way, is brought to the forefront. It's a challenging relationship. It is not something that you get in because it's like of the fantasy part of it. Yes, you share the same soul, and yes, your connection is insane and undeniable. But it's not, I will say this, it's not the smoothest and easiest route to go. So let me proceed and tell you about the soulmate description. You have an instant connection with them, but it's not the same as the twin flame, where it's like you feel a connection, like a crazy connection, and that's just because you're the same soul. So in the soulmate, you do have an instant connection as well. Usually it's a pretty smooth relationship. You feel like you might have known them in a past life. You might have had a connection with them in a past life. Maybe even if they were a friend in a past life, not necessarily a relationship. Who knows? But you feel like you've known them before. Usually it's an easy relationship. It teaches you self-love a lot of times. And oftentimes this is the person that you'll end up marrying. I think a lot of people end up marrying a soulmate, and even if they have a twin flame, because it's a little bit of a smoother route. But the twin flame relationship, I will talk about this later after I'm done describing these. It can catapult you on your spiritual journey, and that is the purpose, and one of the purposes of it. And then the karmic relationship is, it's not easy, but it's hard to get out of. And the reason a karmic relationship is hard to get out of, because it's that relationship that is, you're together to learn lessons that you still have not learned from previous lifetimes. It's those hard lessons that you kind of have to learn before you, like when you're starting. It's that dark night of the soul in the very beginning of your spiritual journey. It's those relationships you have to purge. It's those relationships you have to learn to get out of that cycle, so then you can even come into the mix where you're like, okay, I'm choosing between a soulmate or a twin flame type thing, or not even being with anyone. Like, there's so many different options, and I'll get to that as well. So my karmic relationship, I was married, I have 4 kids. It was not easy to come out of. It was very difficult to come out of, and that was in the very beginning of my spiritual journey. That was like 4 or 5 dark nights of the soul. Like, it was no joke. It was years of tears and hardship and moving across the country and not wanting to leave the relationship because it wasn't like my husband was a bad person. We just had nothing in common, and we didn't have a spiritual connection really, but we had our kids together, so we could make it run smoothly, but we were feeling empty in ways. And it was me going through, I had for me, karmically, my family and myself had relationship issues, and it was cycling. So it was a huge thing for me to be able to come out of that. And so, yeah, some people are still in that, but you start your spiritual journey, but that's still a big thing that you need to get through before you can come into what I'm about to talk about. And what I want to talk about is there's different routes to take on your spiritual journey to grow, to reach what is the goal, enlightenment. There really is no goal. The goal is to enjoy the journey. So that's why a lot of people end up with soulmates, because it's kind of easier to enjoy the journey when you're gradually healing instead of boom, twin flame puts it all in your face and now you got to heal and you got to look at your deepest, darkest stuff, and I'm going to keep triggering you every so often or all the time, or who knows. Like, I love my twin to death, but he still triggers me all the time, even though we're in union. Like, I still trigger him, even though we're in union. And it's like, I see myself growing. I see him growing, and we're growing at such a fast pace. And yes, I chose the twin flame journey. Right now, I could be with a soulmate in an easy relationship and not have to worry about money and all this stuff. I have that option right now, but I'm choosing this relationship because I feel like I like a challenge. I'm the masculine in the relationship. I've been held a lot of masculine energy my whole life, so I'm very competitive. I like a challenge, and I love the thought of like pushing myself to be the best person I can be. And I'm not the type of person that can just that is just like, I know I could have a beautiful life and still create heaven on earth and become my best self with a soulmate. I totally could, but I'm willing to go this route. And that's the thing about twin flames. I think everyone thinks that it's just this, oh, everything's going to be amazing once we get through all that stuff in the beginning, all these roadblocks. Well, guess what? Once you come into union, it's a whole new roadblocks. There's a bunch of different things to work through. And once you think you've worked through the hardest stuff, then boom, more stuff comes up. And it's just you really getting down to your core in terms of healing. And the thing of it is, it doesn't matter like, not everyone has a twin flame. Not everyone has the same path. But when you just are like so focused on your twin and that's the only option, like, that's when you cripple yourself. So for me, I've always been, ever since I started my spiritual journey and came out of my marriage, very open with the universe and with my higher self and with my guides about different routes that I can take. So there's different routes to grow, and it just doesn't just necessarily have to do with relationships. You could grow through the twin flame dynamic and in that journey. You could grow in a soulmate relationship. You can grow being single, and just that was a huge thing I considered, because I'm an introvert to the max. The only time I really communicate with people is on my videos and with my twin. Like, I'm not on the phone. Like, I don't have a bunch of friends. Like, I've never been that person. I've always been very secluded. I remember, like, my dad raised me, and he used to think that, like, I didn't like everyone because I'd always be up in my room by myself, or I'd always be off doing something by myself. And it was just like, that's who I am. So I highly considered being alone. Like, I was totally okay with it. I'm totally okay with raising all my kids by myself. Like, it's no thing. Like, I love that. And so that was where it was at before I met my twin. So when I went and met my twin, it like blew my head open, because I was like, shit, that wasn't the plan. So, but that could have been a plan. And so what I'm trying to say is, when I'm so open to that being a plan, or open to a soulmate, I've had feelings for people on my spiritual journey who are not my twin, who would have been amazing partners for me, who are amazing people. More than one person could have been an amazing person for me. And I turned those people down because I wanted to be alone. And then my twin came along, and I was like, I don't want a relationship. I don't want a relationship. But that's what I told him in the beginning. I don't want a relationship. And you could totally tell how I'm the masculine in my dynamic, because I was always kind of the runner. Even when, since we've been in union, I have to kind of, like, when I get triggered, fight, not telling him, get the heck out, get out, I don't want to talk right now. Like, that's one thing I had to work through, is like not pushing him away. And that also stems back to abandonment issues from my childhood, because my mother wasn't around for a long period of time, and that was very hard for me. And yeah, so there's so many different ways to spiritually mature. I mean, some people use plant medicine like ayahuasca, and they'll keep doing different plant medicines, and that's a way for them to bring up things in themselves, to be able to recognize them so they're able to heal. I mean, some people try to use plant medicine, and it's like, that's fine. You want to bring things up to heal? Then let's see how you implement them in your day-to-day life outside of a festival or this, what do they call them? The something journeys where you go out. Vision quest. You know what I'm saying? How can you implement those things in your life? There's different ways. Some people choose to just meditate for hours on end, like certain people who are really, like Feel Good, for example. He meditates like 3 hours a day, I've heard him say. Or like monks, like they choose that path to enlightenment. Like there's so many different options to grow on your spiritual journey. And once you get to the point in your spiritual maturity where it's not about external validation from a twin flame, from a soulmate, from a plant medicine, anything. It's not about those things, and you're okay, and you know that no matter what route you choose, the love is in here, and you take yourself and the love with you on all those paths, and you can use a bunch of different methods to grow. And that's the thing. Like, if you're still in this like, my twin is the only way mindset, you're not even ready to make a decision like that. You have to totally be detached from your twin to be able to come to this point where you're like, okay, universe, I'm open to all these routes. Lead me on the best one, and I'm going to flow with that. And I think twins, you're a twin for a reason. I think that could be your best route. But you have to, it might not be in this lifetime if you're not ready to detach and do that individual work and become okay with not being with your twin. And for me, like, even now, like, I want to go the twin flame route. But say it didn't work out. Say all of a sudden he stopped his growth and he decided he didn't want to do it. Okay. Like, I'm totally okay with going the solo route. I'm totally okay with maybe a soulmate coming into my life. I'm still open. And that's the thing. We close ourselves off because of these expectations that we have. Expectations kill your ability to co-create with the universe because you shut off all the potentials. All the potentials where the universe could work with you. You shut them off because you're just closing your mind off. You're closing off your intuition. Like, this is what I want. This is how I want my future to look. Newsflash, your future is not going to look how you think it's going to look. All those expectations, squash them because it's not going to look that way. It's going to look the way the universe is going to surprise you in so many ways. It's going to look 10 times better than what you could ever think it is, but you have to be open. You have to open up your heart to that, and you have to heal to the point where you can get to the position where you can make these choices. And you guys continuously, even if you choose, even though I chose the twin flame route, I'm still open. Because anything can happen. And if something happens with him or us or whatever, if there's some event, I'm totally okay with being rerouted. Just like on the GPS, like, oh, all of a sudden there's an accident or something goes down, and that's not the smoothest route to enlightenment or spiritual growth sense, then I'm getting on the other road. You still have to, like, flow with the universe. And release expectation. I don't care if you're already in union. Like, and that's the point I'm trying to make is, like, before you even think about this stuff, we have to get to that level of spiritual maturity where we're completely detached. It's essential. It really is. Okay, what else did I write down here? I don't want to forget anything because my download had quite a few little points. Trust and flow, yes. And all options can lead to heaven on earth. All options can lead to bliss. I think I already mentioned that. And you can't get it wrong. You can't get it wrong. Like, if I freaking, like, totally decide I don't want to do the twin flame thing, that's still right. That's still a different path that could lead me to an amazing amount of spiritual growth. Don't close yourself off. Don't do it. I'm seriously, just focus on yourself right now, especially if you're not with your twin. You're never separate from your twin as well. I just want to, like, put that out there. There is no, like, I know I mentioned, like, separation period because it's a way to label it, but you're never separate. Never. You're always connected. And honestly, like, the focus really should be on finding that love within yourself. Once you resonate with that, it doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters. Because you know and you trust and you have the utmost faith that the universe is going to put you on the right path, and it's going to reroute you and flow you on the most easiest path. Not saying that doing the work is always easy, but they're going to take you on the smoothest, most blissful path possible to benefit you. And that's why when I speak to my guides and I say prayers, I say, please help me flow on the path that's of the highest good of me and my children and my life. Because I'm open to any path. I'm not closed to anything that you have to offer me. And that's really just what I want to get across today. So we can really start seeing these relationships and everything in your spiritual journey from different perspectives. There is no one size fit all. If you're a twin flame, that does not mean that that's your way. That doesn't even mean that you're going to be in union this lifetime, for one. It doesn't even mean that's the type of union. Some twins are in union in a meditative way. Some twins connect through meditation. They never even physically meet. And that connection and that love bond is so powerful. Some people are in polyamorous relationships where they may be committed to this person, but they're committed in the way that, like, that is my main relationship, but they're still open, like an open relationship, and that works for them. And that helps them grow. It helps them with jealousy. It helps them with all these things. And it's like, we are very close-minded because we've been culturally indoctrinated with this is how relationship looks like. And that is why twin flames are here, to show diversity, to show what different relationships can look like. And the twin flame is like 100% that. 100%, because I've seen so many different dynamics of it. But yeah, there is no wrong way, but I will say that alignment with your higher self is the top priority, because how can you even follow your intuition if you're not in that state of alignment with yourself? I hope you guys have an awesome full moon, and I really hope this message helps somebody look at their situation maybe in a different way, or helps them with some clarity in their situation. Be open. Don't be closed-minded. Forget about all that indoctrination about relationships and how they're supposed to be, because the new world, the new age movement and this new earth and everything, it is not old earth. The whole point is to change the way we look at things. The whole point is to come into this unity and Christ consciousness, and come together and work together and see each other in love and light, and not try to conform and fit in a box. I promise you, just align with your higher self, and all you have to do is follow your intuition. This does not have to be easy, or does not have to be hard. We can make it easy. We can make it easy. Even when we're getting triggered, we can make it easy for ourselves by just going to source for all the answers, not overthinking things, going to source. What do I need to look at here? What perspective do I need to see here, source? Ask these questions. Maybe the answer won't come to you immediately. Maybe a few days later, oh my gosh, you'll get this download and this clarity about this situation. Be patient, be faithful, and just do the trust fall. You've got this, I promise. But we have to, the closed-mindedness is holding people back right now. I feel that with a lot in me, especially when I see people talking about their twin flame dynamic. They're being held back by the concept of the whole thing, by the attachment of it all. Like, open your mind to all possibilities. Don't close yourself off. You want heaven on earth, open your heart up. Open your heart up to anything. The universe and source and your guides will lead you to exactly where you need to be and where heaven on earth is for you. So I love you guys. I hope you have an awesome full moon. And maybe I'll make a video tomorrow. We'll see.